Welcome to the Bird Gang Nation Sports Media Show, repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! Bird Gang 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's Senior Estes. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders till I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers to Rager, young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Gangsta Stride. To the Bird Gang Nation, that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat, the man in motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk, hitting like B-Dog, baby.
Welcome to another edition of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. Today, Nation, we have a very special guest, Mr. Mitchell RENZ. Is that how you pronounce it? RENZ from Chad Sport Raiders. He's in the house to break down this next weekend's matchup. How you doing today, my guy?
I'm pretty good. I guess the only thing I'm a little upset about is you said Bird Gang Nation. I just want you to know there is only one nation, and that is Raider Nation. But nah, I'm playing. I appreciate the invite. I was glad to come on here and talk a little bit of Raiders, Eagles football. For those of you that don't know me, I run the Raiders Report show on YouTube. We're getting close to 93,000 subs, so please go ahead and check it out. We do a lot of content over there, and I also grew up in central Pennsylvania, so I have a lot, and I mean a lot of Eagles friends, all my college roommates. So if anybody's watching here from the 570,
give them a shout out. Give them a shout out. All links are inside the chat. So Raider fans, if you want to subscribe to Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk, you can hit that link. If not, Eagles fans, go do the same with him. His links are also inside the chat. So, man, how do you like the Raiders so far? Have they met your expectations? Are they everything you thought they would be? Let me know how you feel.
I don't cut you off. I can't hear you right now.
You can't hear me?
No, I don't know what just happened. Hang on a second.
Yeah, because you're breaking it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm sorry. I think it was on my end. I don't know what I just did.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I was just saying, get everybody a little breakdown how you like the Raiders through 6. You know what I'm saying? Like, are they everything you wanted them to be, or how's it looking?
The Raiders are just this absolute roller coaster ride of a team. I mean, you come out rocking and rolling that first game up against the Baltimore Ravens, who look like maybe the best team in the entire league right now. You win a tough game there, then you win week 2 up against the Steelers. Then you have a not so pretty game, but anytime you can come away with a win in the NFL is tough. But you're 3-0, sitting high, sitting pretty. You get kind of whooped by the Chargers. You play a really embarrassing game against the Bears, and then you just ultimately come right on in and take care of business up against the Denver Broncos, a division rival team coming off a crazy, crazy week. No more John Gruden, Rich Bisaccia, but this team, when they're rolling, they're one of the best teams in the league. But they also have their lows, and when they don't have it, it's watch.
Oh, yeah, we know that over here in Philadelphia, man. As you've seen, our team is still trying to find our identity on offense. Our defense has actually been playing a lot better, and it didn't help. We played so many good teams in a row. We got the Chiefs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Cowboys all in a row. plus the Niners, out there on the East Coast, man. We've had our little lumps. We won one game in Carolina, so we're hoping to bounce back this week with the Raiders, you know what I'm saying, even though y'all looking good over there.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, we'll see what Sirianni's able to do. I'm actually not the biggest Jalen Hurts fan personally. Wasn't a big fan of him when he was first coming out of college. Really good athlete. I think Sirianni would be a little bit more smart to take a page out of Greg Roman's playbook, where using the way that the Ravens use Lamar Jackson. And I don't know why they don't feed Miles Sanders. Grew up watching a lot of Penn State football. I think Miles Sanders is one of the most, not even the most, he might be the most underutilized running back in the entire league. But you know what? I'm going to be okay with that. So you guys keep throwing the ball, let Hurts do his thing, and it'll be a Raiders win.
Yeah, man, we need to get Booby spinning out there. You know what I'm saying? He definitely needs to rock. He's not getting to rock enough over here. And that's some rookie head coaching mistakes I think he's doing. These rookie head coaches have all shown their flaws, from, the defense playing the same vanilla defense the first 3 weeks of the season to actually mixing it up with some man coverage, letting those CBs, guard one-on-one coverage, manning up on these teams. And we've done pretty well with the pass. It's just the run game that's been really killing us. How do you see the Raiders attacking this defense?
I mean, I'm going to put it on Derek Carr. I'm going to put it on Greg Olsen. I was really impressed to see what the Raiders did this past week. For the first time in 12 games, the Raiders scored a touchdown on their opening drive. You also saw Greg Olsen take over for Gruden. The Raiders ran 24.1% of their plays were play action compared to Gruden. It was only 11.5, so you saw a lot more of that. But you just got to rely on Carr and the offensive line to be able to pass block much better than they can run block. Stretching the ball down the field with Ruggs and Brian Edwards. Right now, there are only 4 receivers in the entire league who are averaging more than 20 yards per catch. Ruggs and Brian are in that top 4 group with DJ Chark, and the other name is escaping me. I guess it doesn't really matter, but you want to try to run through the air, I think is the easiest way I can explain it. There's nobody that knows this offense more than Derek Carr, and I'd rather win with Derek instead of losing with not really being able to run the ball. I love Jacobs, but it's our interior offensive line that scares me.
Yeah, man, and that's the part that we're strength at the most. We got Hargraves out there, one of the best DTs in the league this year, playing out of his mind. And then we actually got to see Fletcher Cox wake up and join us this year, last week, getting his first sack, you know what I'm saying? So, I see us, we can use that run game this week. We've been begging for Nick to run the ball, you know what I'm saying? I think that would help our defense out with a team like you guys, and also help our whole offense in general, have more people open. There's a lot of things to run cures, and definitely our coach needs to get started with that.
I mean, we'll see what the Eagles decide to do. I mean, I feel like for the last 2-3 weeks, when I go on my NFL Daily show at Chat Sports, I'm like, well, the Eagles have to run the ball this week, right? And then the next week, I'm like, well, the Eagles have to run the ball this week, right? And then we just, we had a team outing this past week watching the Eagles on Thursday Night Football, whatever the heck it was. And I don't have a good answer. Again, why? Because every time Miles Sanders touches the ball, you can see he's electric. You can see he's dynamic. And, yeah, he's always going to be compared to, like, my family with Saquon Barkley. And I think Saquon is the more superior athlete. But if you're looking for more of a north and south type of runner, I mean, Sanders he's as good as they come. And I almost wish for a fantasy team that I'm in that they'd give the ball to Sanders a little bit.
Right. I got him in my fantasy too, my guy. And he's not doing it. And he's too good to bench. So you're like, do I bench him this week? No, he's going to get the ball. And bench it? No. And it's just not happening. But hopefully we can get that started. How is it with the Raiders and Gruden? Like you said, your team looked a little bit better without him. Were you on the board of having him gone, or did you like Gruden and wish he would have stayed around a little longer?
See, I liked Gruden as a person. I have met him before. I don't think he's a bad person. Do I agree with the stuff he said? No. I mean, I did so many interviews last week for BBC World News, for all these other places, and I was like, I don't think Gruden was a bad person. He just said some bad things, right? Now, I was also really excited for Rich Bisaccia. I mean, he's been coaching since 1983. He was actually got his first start in the NFL in 2002, and when he literally said the words, I am the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, he got emotional. And those are the kind of guys that I want to go ahead and – that's the guy I would want to go ahead and play for. Now, was I happy that Gruden got fired or resigned, whatever you want to say? No, not really. But from an actual football standpoint, he was going to make another $60 million 6 years, no matter if the Raiders won or lost. So to get out of that contract, that I do think is a blessing in disguise. But you obviously, I mean, I was rooting for Gruden. I have Chucky heads on my show. At least I used to. I don't know if you know or familiar. I mean, I was absolutely pulling for him, but was very impressed by the way that this team bounced back and the way that this team answered the call, and they were totally in control of that game from the start.
What do you think are some of the biggest differences since Gruden left in terms of the way the game flow is with the offense and the defense? Was it pretty much the same, or was there a noticeable change there?
So the noticeable change that I'll say is simplicity. One of the things that always people talk about with Gruden, and even Carr said it himself, it was one of the most complicated offenses that he's ever been a part of. Now, some people are like, oh, well, how many offenses has Carr been a part of? I mean, he's had now 5 different head coaches. I believe he's had now 4 different OCs to a certain degree. Like, he has played with a lot of different people. And when you hear, okay, it's a difficult system, one of the things that Kenyon Drake said that, you know, hey, it's a much simpler concept. You kind of know where you're going to go. You kind of know what you're going to do. And you kind of saw that this past week where you just let these young guys be the athletes that they are and go out and make plays. And it reminded me a lot of when all the Raiders players last year used to talk about how complicated Paul Gunther's old system was and nobody knew where to go. And the Raiders are ranked dead last in defense. And now you get somebody who a little bit older of a veteran, Gus Bradley, you bring him on the defensive side of the football. And once you know it, the Raiders have a top 10 defense right now. So that was kind of the biggest difference that I saw with simplicity. But if you give Carr to throw, he can dice you up. And that's kind of what you saw this past week. 341 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Do you want to see him continue to be the Raiders head coach after this season? Or do you think this is going to be a temporary thing? We're probably going to find a new coach next year.
Well, I did a John Gruden replacements video where I broke down the top 10 guys who aren't right now on the Raiders to be the next head coach. And I mean, there's guys out there like Brian Dable. I would love him. Eric Bieniemy, even though he's got his past issues as well. Joe Brady, the OC for the Panthers, head coach or offensive coordinator Kellen Moore for the Cowboys. Those are guys that I personally would like. Now, usually interim head coaches don't really get the head coaching job. It's very, very rare unless the Raiders, I don't know, win the Super Bowl or win maybe 1 or 2 playoff games. That's honestly the only way I can see it happening. But I still think that Bisaccia keeps his job. He'll stay on their team. But I do ultimately see them bringing in a new head coach. The bigger question is then, brand new head coach, does he go ahead and bring in his own quarterback? That could be the hell of a story that's going to be happening.
How high are you on Carr? Do you think he's an elite quarterback, or you think he's more of a middle of the pack type guy?
I think Carr is a good quarterback in a league that needs elite quarterbacks. Or you need a young, good quarterback on a cheap contract where you can go ahead and build around him. Like we're just kind of spoiled right now with guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson. I mean, those guys, you know, everyone in the NFL is like, oh, like that's the guy I want. That's the kind of guy I want. Well, I hate to break it to you. Those dudes, they don't grow on trees. So unless you can get one of those elite guys, I think you're best off trying to get a young rookie quarterback on a young type of contract and then building around them. Very similar to what Seattle did with Russell Wilson early on. Very similar to what the Bills did with Josh Allen early on. The Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. And I will be very interested to see how some of these teams going down the road that have all that money invested in the quarterback position, because we can say what we want about QBs. It's a team league, man. I mean, yeah. Carr is good. He's top 12. He's probably even top 10. But is he good enough with a maybe above average Raiders roster to win a Super Bowl? That I don't know. If you put him on, I think the Bills roster right now, they're rocking and rolling. You put him on a lot of these other teams, he's going to win a lot of games. But he's never had a top 20 defense. I think that's why his record hasn't been as good as what it could have been.
All right. We got one here. Ruggs versus Smith. Both of us got an Alabama receiver out there. Which one do you like the most out of those two?
Well, I think right now Ruggs might be having the better year statistically, but that's just because Derek Carr is a superior passer than Hurts. But if I were to look at my grades and my overall draft rankings, I did have Devonta Smith ranked higher than I did Henry Ruggs. I think Ruggs is the better athlete. But the one thing Devonta Smith has always been able to do, even at his time back at Alabama, not that he's a superior athlete, not that he's like superior at almost anything, but he's a very good route runner. And his awareness in games, like he just gets open. And I think when you watch him at Alabama, you're like, how the heck does this guy always find a way to get open? And I don't know the answer to that. He just always found a way to get open. But the other thing that's going to limit Devonta is his injury history. So we'll stay on that. But I'm going to take my guy Ruggs. I mean, he's been incredible this year and what he can open up for an offense.
And he said Quez versus Edwards.
I actually love Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins was one of my favorite sleeper picks. I don't remember what tiny school he was at, but man, that kid could run. And I mean, the best example of speed that I saw from Quez Watkins this entire year was it was early on in that first preseason game. He took like a 79-yard ball and he took it up the sidelines and he was gone. But you could see somebody who has 4.2, 4.3 speed next to a backup, maybe third string cornerback, and he was just like running by him. Peace out, dude. I'm going to the house. With that being said, though, I do think Quez Watkins will never be a wide receiver one, where Brian Edwards, with his build at 6'3", 225 pounds, if he can just stay healthy, Edwards to me has all the ability in the world to be a number one receiver. I just don't know if his health will ever allow him to do that. He also has some concentration issues where he'll catch an amazing one-handed ball, and then the next play he'll just drop one wide open to him.
He said Tom Cable, will he be kept as you guys' offensive line coach? Because you got to build a pretty good one over there.
Well, the offensive line this year has been very underwhelming, unfortunately, but I still think that Cable might stay. It's just a matter of who are they going to go out and who are they going to hire next year as the head coach, because if they decide to clean house, then they're probably going to clean house. If they decide to keep their guys, then they keep their guys. But it'll be interesting. But I owe Tom Cable a lot of respect, because when I first started doing the Raiders show, I used to rip on Cable a lot because his time with the Seahawks was pretty rough, and then the Raiders' offensive line was a little shaky. But the offensive line for the Raiders the last few years has been very, very consistent. And even though it's struggling this year, I'm hoping that they can turn it around.
How would you just compare Waller versus Goddard? Because I know Waller is one of the best tight ends in the league, and Goddard's the up-and-coming tight end. Do you see any similarities there, and who would you like to pick between those two?
I'm going to pick Waller. I feel like I'm picking all these Raiders guys, but Waller to me is just one of the most incredible athletes that I've ever seen. He's 6'6", he's 260. He can run all the great routes. He just runs like a receiver. He can block also. Now, I love the fact that Zach Ertz is no longer a member of the Eagles, traded away to the Cardinals, because Dallas Goedert, and I've been saying it for probably 2 years, that Goedert was the superior tight end to Ertz. Sure, people remember Ertz back in 2019 where he had 116 catches. He was a PPR god in the fantasy league. I get that. But Goddard to me is one of these really underappreciated tight ends, very similar to what I'll say with like O.J. Howard from the Bucs, where Goddard can block. And having a tight end that can actually block is a very, very useful thing. But then he can also get up and he can run. He's kind of like a poor man's, I don't even like to say poor man's, but a lesser version of George Kittle, where Kittle can run, he can block, he can catch, he can do all these things. He might not always put up the crazy fantasy stats just because that's not how the offense works. But Dallas Goedert is a very, very good tight end. I'd put him right up in the category with Mark Andrews from the Ravens.
Nice. We'd love to hear that over there, especially since Ertz is out of here. Give me 3 rookies on the Raiders that's really impressed you this year.
Oh, boy. Well, so the first round pick, Leatherwood, was at right tackle. That was kind of a disaster. They kicked him into right guard, so we'll see. Merrick, the safety out of TCU, he won Defensive Back of the Year last season in college football. He's been pretty good. He's been playing a lot of snaps. I believe him and Abram were the only 2 players last week to play all 100% of the snaps. So Merrick will be him. The next player that I'd probably throw in this list, and the issue is I don't even know if I can name 3 rookies because Devon Diablo hasn't really played. Malcolm Kuntz, their other third-round rookie, he hasn't really played. But the best rookie, the guy who I believe right now deserves to win Rookie of the Year on the defensive side of the football, is Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs, the 5th-round pick out of Illinois, has been phenomenal. He's playing in the slot. He's moving all over the field. He's one of the highest-rated cornerbacks according to PFF. Nate Hobbs and Merrick have been by far the 2 most impressive Raiders rookies this year, and I don't even know if it's close.
He said, do you think the Raiders will spy Jalen Hurts with Jonathan Abram?
I think it's actually a pretty good opportunity for Abram to do what they did exactly against Lamar Jackson, where you gotta respect that they're going to be able to throw the ball here and there, but I will lose to Jalen Hurts' arm way before I lose to his legs. And you're going to see, I think, a little bit of Abram play spy. You're also going to see a lot of Denzel Perriman, who's tied right now with Bobby Wagner for the most tackles in the league with 72. Perriman just likes to hurt people, and he's just fun to watch. He can't cover worth a damn, but He can come up and hit some people. So I think you're going to see Abram. I think you're going to see a mix of Denzel Perriman, sprinkling a little bit of Corey Littleton to be that QB spy.
Are you guys more man or zone?
They're going to switch in and out. You see a lot of cover 3 with Gus Bradley, typically with his defenses, which is just you let Merrick play center field. If you got to drop back Casey Hayward and then Amik Robertson potentially as the other cornerback, let Nate Hobbs come up close. But they like to mix and match, but you're probably going to see a little bit more zone. But what they did with Lamar was they played zone, and I'm going to use a basketball reference here, which was it's called box and one. Box and one is a zone-based defense where everyone plays a zone but one guy, and he's man-on-man with the only player that matters, and that's Lamar Jackson. So I think you're going to see zone with just one guy playing man, and that's going to be the QB spy.
Nice. Give me 3 keys to victory for the Raiders. What are the 3 things they need to do to guarantee a win?
I would go ahead and say limit the running game as much as humanly possible because the Raiders have been getting beat pretty bad up the middle. Their defensive tackles, I think, have struggled over the past few games. And the Eagles, just to me, don't have a good enough passing attack to be able to beat the Raiders. So if you can stop their running game, you're going to go ahead and win. I'm going to say let Carr cook, which is just if you protect him and you let him throw the ball around, you're going to be okay. And then my final key to victory is turnovers. The biggest issue, I think, for this Raiders team has been when they turn the ball over, they struggle at times, giving their defense a shorter field. And I think the Eagles are a good team. I really do. However, I just think the Raiders are a little bit more complete. And usually the better team wins as long as they don't turn over the ball. So those are my three keys.
Now give Eagles fans something that we can hold our hats on. 3 things the Eagles need to do to beat you guys.
Oh, boy. Well, probably first off, run the ball with your amazing running back, Miles Sanders. It's just absolutely infuriating how he only got 2 carries against the Cowboys in the game. We're like, all right, yeah, let's try to get in a shootout with one of the best offenses in the league. You're like, all right, Sirianni will learn from his mistakes. No, he didn't. So run the ball with Miles Sanders would probably be my first key. I would also say don't panic. And what do I mean by that is the Raiders historically have been a team that under Gruden and minus this past week, they don't get off to a hot start. And I think if the Eagles just stick to their MO, stick to who they are. And I've seen this team get in trouble where they start trying to get in shootouts with teams. And, they tried to do it this past week with the Bucs. They try to do it again. But I think just sticking to who you are. And then the last thing I'll go ahead and say is get after Carr. I mean, the Raiders right now are on pace to have the worst run blocking offensive line in the history of PFF. Started doing grading, which was 2006. But if you can rattle Carr, if you can get after him, he's shown that he does get happy feet at times. And I think that's really going to be the ultimate game where Ken Fletcher Cox, Ken Hargraves, can they beat the young guys up in the interior for the Raiders? And if they do, could be a long game, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that doesn't happen.
Do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game? You think it's going to be a shootout or lower-scoring game? And then give me a score prediction.
Well, I haven't seen what the odds are yet in this one, but I know last week was a 34-24 game with the Broncos. But I'm going to go higher-scoring game just simply because the Eagles' defense doesn't really impress me. Darius Slay, you can say what you want. I think he was a little bit of a wasted money and maybe with some wasted picks there. But the Raiders' defense is pretty good. However, I could see them getting beat here and there. The Eagles also are coming off a longer week, which they have extra time to prepare, which that helps teams out a whole bunch. There's no doubt about it. So I'm going to take the Raiders, though. Give me the Raiders winning this one 31-26 in kind of a weird game. I don't know what the odds are going to be. I think the Raiders will be favored, but I don't know exactly what the odds are yet.
Hey, I can deal with that. That's pretty nice, you know what I'm saying? Keeping it close. I like it. I know you're short on time, but can I get an all-time Eagles team? Every content creator, I try to get their all-time favorite team of their team, and I want to try to get yours for the fans. If you could pick quarterback and a backup, who's your favorite Raiders quarterback and who will be backing them up?
My favorite Raiders quarterback of all time. Oh, boy. I mean, some people might say this is recency bias. I love Derek Carr. I think from a passing standpoint, him and Rich Gannon deserve to be up there with the best, passing quarterbacks for the Raiders. However, I never got to see him live. I would have loved to be able to see somebody like LaMonica or Ken Stabler. They obviously have the toughness that a lot of these old Raider fans like. But if we're talking about who is the actual best passing quarterback that I've seen for a Raider,
yeah.
If I'm going to take 1 year, I'm going to take Rich Gannon in 2002 because that guy was nuts.
Nice. Give me 3 running backs.
3 running backs. So here's where I can be a little bit spoiled. The greatest athlete of all time is Bo Jackson. And if I can get a healthy Bo Jackson, I'll take Bo every single day of the week. And that's not ripping on Marcus Allen, who's going to be right up there with me, who's another great running back for the Raiders. And then I'm going to go probably Darren McFadden, because McFadden for a handful of years there for the Raiders was like unbelievable when he was healthy. But I could also give some love to my guy Marshawn Lynch, beast mode. So it depends. But Marshawn wasn't really beast mode when he was with the Raiders. So that's kind of iffy.
Give me 2 tight ends.
Darren Waller, he's the best tight end that the Raiders have ever had, and I'll sit on a wall for that. And then, oh man, that's the other. I don't know if I want to go Jared Cook. Again, like I know more of the recent Raiders. I don't know some of these old legends that I know that they had. Like from a wide receiver standpoint, I'll take Tim Brown, Fred Bolendikoff, and then I'll probably throw in, man, either Michael Crabtree or maybe a Jerry Rice.
Offensive line.
Oh, man, here's where we get spoiled. Mark Shell, Jim Otto, Gene Upshaw. Oh man, those are my definite 3 locks right now. That's where I'll go for the offensive line.
Okay, and what about some defensive linemen?
Defensive linemen. Oh man, let's go with. I mean, the way Max has been playing this year, he's been absolutely nuts. But I feel like that's too recency. Give me Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack, I still think is one of the all-time greats. I'm trying to think of oh my God, his name is escaping me. The Raiders' all-time sack leader. I literally got a picture with him not too long ago in Las Vegas. Number 91. That's going to kill me. Regardless, I can't think of anybody else. But I mean, some of my like all-time favorites, like Charles Woodson. I think he's one of the best defensive backs of all time. There's a lot. This is a tough question. I wish I would have prepared for this a little bit better. I do think this though. One of the biggest issues, and a lot of times people are like, oh, I want the old Raiders defenses, and here and there. I just don't know if you could play that style of defense anymore, simply because guys would get flagged way, way too often, like just way too often. But a lot of greats. What about you for the Eagles? Like one of my actually favorite Eagles of all time is Brian Dawkins. I mean, that guy was.
Yeah, Dawk is definitely my favorite safety. If I had to run through it real fast, I'll say Randall Cunningham and Donovan McNabb. Those are my 2 quarterbacks. My running backs would be Brian Westbrook, Shady, and we'll go with some Brian Westbrook, Shady, and probably Ricky Florin Waters. We're gonna throw Ricky Waters in there. Tight ends is definitely gonna be Keith Jackson and Zach Ertz. We got receivers Deshaun Jackson, Macklin, T.O., and probably let's go with Carmichael because he's the best Eagle of all time on there. Offensive line, you got Trey Thomas, probably Trey Thomas and John Ryan. And then you got JPP. He's going to be my guard, even though he wasn't very good at guard on our team when he played guard. You got Kels for center, and then Sean Andrews probably there. Defensive lineman, you got to deal with Reggie White, Brown. We got the Freak, and let's go with Corey Simon. Linebackers, you go with Trotter, D'Amico Ryans, and Nigel Bradham. Corners, you go Eric Allen, Sante Samuels, Lito Shepard, Sheldon Brown. Safeties would be Dawkins and Michael Lewis.
It's funny. One of my best friends in college, he was super excited when the Eagles signed Nnamdi Asomugha. He used to sign his name on all his school papers as Nnamdi Asomugha. Now, obviously, that one didn't work out well. That might have been a part of the dream team.
He played great on your team. He didn't do very well.
He was amazing. He was amazing for the Raiders, but I think that was the dream team. If I'm correct, I think that was the dream team.
I don't know what he did on our team. He was just horrible for some reason. Like we haven't had that great of luck on cornerbacks in general lately. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Darius Slay is good. I'm not gonna say he's, world beater or nothing like that, but we definitely need to pick up some new cornerbacks here over the next year or two, and our team would develop into a more better secondary. Back in those days, we had like 2 good corners at all times. You know what I'm saying? There's always 2 good cornerbacks, plus you had 2 good safeties and Dawkins and whoever played next to them. So, we're trying to get that defense back to that way. I will say our pass defense has gotten better this year than last year. You know what I'm saying? And our run defense kind of went down. But I think that's because we need a stud middle linebacker out there. But shout out to the 20 in the chat. Thanks for coming by today. Please hit that like and subscribe to both of our channels. Both are inside the link or in the descriptions. You know what I'm saying? We're growing here at BIRDGANG Sports Nation. We're on the road to 2K. So make sure you guys help us out and hit that like and subscribe, my guy. Go ahead and give everybody one last breakdown where they can find you at, man.
You guys could find me Instagram, Twitter, anywhere at Mitchell RENZ 365. I keep my DMs open on Instagram. It's just kind of the easiest place for me to control everything. I do NFL shows over at Chat Sports. You can hit us up on YouTube. We just crossed 265,000 subs there, and then I run the Raiders show as well. So we're getting close to 93K. If anybody is going to be in Las Vegas this weekend, I'm going to be hosting a Raiders exclusive watch party. If you want to be an Eagles fan, you want to come along for the ride too, it's all good. It'll be at Resorts World, so it'll be a good time. And if you guys need tickets or anything, just DM me and I'll get you set up.
Heck yeah, that's what's up. So any of you Eagles fan going down there, hit him up, man. He got you. And also do us a favor, go talk to our boy Thomas Mott. Tell him he needs to come on the show. Check us out sometime too. So I've been trying so hard to get at him. But hey, thanks again for coming on the show, my guy. Much love to you and good luck this weekend. I know you got the Raiders winning, but I have to support my Eagles, and I got the Birds winning 24-14. But we're going to see what happens this game because I feel like our defense is right there. And if our offense can run the ball and get us out of this play calling rut that we're in, I think it'd be something to be messing with. So shout out to all you guys. Like I always say on my show, fly, Eagles, fly. Till next time, this was BIRDGANG Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, BIRDGANG31, and we are out. Peace.
Welcome to the BIRDGANG Nation Sports Media Show. Repping the greatest team of all time. Let's go! BIRDGANG 31, he be the host with the most. We going deep, burning teams. They ain't nothing but toast. It's Senior Rested. Sirianni put me in coach, running like Miles Sanders till I bumped my head on the post. Touchdown! Yeah, that's coming. Devontae's crazy route running. Jalen hurting them, throwing lasers to Rager Young gunning. Come on! On the D side, we ride, sack him with Fletcher, lay him out on the stretcher. No one can protect you. Watch Darius lay him, shutting down your routes. Come on! In my green John, eating Philly cheesesteaks. Put up your cups, wings up, if you can relate. Tailgating at the link like Gangsta Stride. To the BIRDGANG Nation, that's worldwide. On Sundays, catch the pre and post game. Mondays is Birds on Broad Street with Philly Notion and Cool Cat the Man in Motion. And Wednesdays, the midweek special got you open with JC from Eagles Talk. Hitting like B-Dog, baby.